Okay, we're on again. So nothing too exciting happening at the moment. Just wait for everyone to pop back on, and I'm going to show you linear interpolation. Okay, so I'll just send the message out to make sure everyone knows that we're back on again. So we're back on, as I just said. Well done, well done. So here's where we're at. What we're going to look at now is something called linear interpolation. And linear interpolation is what you do for things like quartiles, but also deciles, percentiles, all of those things, if your data happens to be continuous. So the difference you remember between discrete and continuous is discrete, you can only be certain values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And continuous, you can be any value. Okay, so you said, let's go to question 4, it involves the interpolation. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to literally learn how to do interpolation. All right. So that's not a problem. Right, brilliant. You can see so many people are here already and quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with example 5. To use example 5 as the example we're going to start showing with. That's on page 26. Question 4, yeah, we're going to definitely do that, page 26. Now, I wanted you to see question 4 in order to kind of, to be fair, question 4 doesn't need interpolation because the data is separated out. Well, actually, no, it does need it. It does need it, yeah. You do need it. You're right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the example on page 26, and then hopefully you'll have enough skills to do question 4. And if then we need to do question 4 together, we can do it together. That's not a problem. It's got range with, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why I picked 4, because it's trying to show you something new. All right. So 2 was very similar to 1, but then question 4 is the next thing. Okay, how does it work? So first of all, we can calculate our lower quartiles and upper quartiles in exactly the same way we did before. 3/4 of something, or 1/4 of something, upper quartile, lower quartile, right? You can't see 3/4. Let me move the camera so it suits it a little bit better. That's better, yeah? So you times by 3/4 to get the upper quartile, you times by 1/4 to get the lower quartile. I hope that makes sense to people so far, yeah? But when it's continuous, you do a whole different other thing, all right? And the different other thing that you're going to do is a calculation, all right? I'm just going to give you the formula. Normally I teach this by, doing a diagram, but diagrams might get confusing here. So what I'm going to do is show you how this works, okay? So the formula I'm going to show you is you first of all need to decide which group your value is in. So if we look at example 5 on page 26, let's everyone be together on that. So it's page 26, example 5. We work out that the upper quartile is the 52.5th value. And that's going to land squarely in the 34 to 36 category. Okay? So if you look at part A, we do the sum, 3/4 of 70 is 52.5. So the value is the 52.5th value. And that's between 34 and 36. All right? But you notice that in the answer, it's not talking about 34 and 36. It's talking about 33.5 and 36.5. Why is that? Because of something new, and it's called the continuity correction. And I'm going to explain what that is. So if you've got gaps in your table, you do something called the continuity correction to fix them. And I'm going to use the example of question 4 to show you how that works. So normally, for question 4, the first number is 300 to 349. Then the next one is 350 to 399. Obviously, that's not continuous. Why is that not continuous? Because there's a gap in the middle. Suppose you're 349.2, which one would you go in? So the continuity correction for this is 300 to 349.5. And from here, 349.5 to 399.5. And so on and so forth. So the next one is 400 to 449. It's basically adding 0.5 in both directions in order to make sure there's no gaps. So literally what Kai said, yeah? So this is 399.5 to 449.5. And of course, this will add to the size of it, so you need to be careful about that. But that's how you do a continuity correction, and I hope that makes sense to you, right? So let's take this back to our question, which is example 5. at the moment, our present table is saying 300, sorry, my bad, not 300 anything. It's saying 34 to 36. 34 to 36 would now become 33.5 to 36.5. Yeah, I hope that makes sense to you. 33.5 to 36.5. Okay. So what used to have a class width of 2 now has a class width of 3, and that's important. You just need to bear with. So yeah, so first thing you need to do, if you've got a table that has got gaps in it, you need to do the continuity correction first. So have that in your notes. Have a look to see if your table needs it. Part 2. You need to think to yourself, okay, how much of this do I actually need? What do I mean by that? You want to find the 52.5th number. However, you've already got 27 by the time you started your question. So if you look at the cumulative frequency, by the end of 31.5, you've got 2. By the end of 33.5, you've already got 27. So you only need another 25.5 more to get to 52.5. All right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out the table just quickly. So it will be what? 30 to 31. So that's going to be 29. That's going to be 30 to 31.5. Yep. Be patient. And I've told you once already, is you're getting on my nerves with the question marks. You need to explain what you don't understand. It is pointless putting question marks. Confused is not much better. What are you confused by? Yeah? Be really clear when you're speaking, all right? Because it's not a place where we can see each other's faces, right? So 33.5 to 36.5. So what I'm doing is I'm fixing the table. I'm doing a continuity correction. You're confused with what I'm doing? I'm drawing a table. The table that we have in example 5. Yeah? Is everyone clear? Let's start from the beginning. Is everyone looking at example 5? This is the example. Yes. So we're doing example 5. And what I'm doing is I'm fixing the table. I'm doing a continuity correction. So far, so good? I hope we understand. Good. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm not writing frequency. What I'm writing is the cumulative frequency because that's more helpful. So that's the thing you might want to do. So 2, 27, 57. I don't really care beyond that. I'll tell you why I don't care beyond that. Because I only need to get the 52.5 value, yeah? This is the one I'm going for. Do you understand where that number comes from? The one I've just written up there, 52.5. Pop a comment in the message saying if you don't. Be clear that that's what you don't understand. So do you understand where 52.5 comes from? I'm waiting on answers in the box. So type something in the chat box. Brilliant. Well done, Ziza. Thank you for letting me know. Everyone else happy. We know where 52.5 comes from. It is 3 quarters because we're in the upper quartile of 70. Is that making sense? Is that the median? How could it possibly be the median on 3 quarters, my dude? If it was a median, it would be timesing by what? Yep, good. Okay, cool. So we did 3 quarters of 70 or 52.5. The question asked us to find the upper quartile. That's what we're doing. That's why it's 3 quarters, all right? So we've got 52.5. So 52.5 would land in the 33.5 to 36.5 zone. It land in this one. Okay, so it would land in this one. Everyone happy so far? Yeah? So it land in this one. I'm going to have to rub this out. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to copy this out. All right? And then we're going to finish off the rest of the question. So I'm going to need some more space. All right, I'm going to try and fix the camera so you get a bit more space. And then I won't have to delete it quite so quickly. Okay, cool. So it follows from 27 to 52.5, I need 25.5. All right? To get from here, which is when I start, I've already got 27. I need to get another 25.5 more to get to 57. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, happy so far? I hope so. So I've already got 27. I need to get another 25.5. Hopefully not too bad. What needs to happen then? I need 22.5 out of 27 that this guy has to, sorry, out of, what is it? It's not 27, is it? It's 30. Out of 30, this guy has to offer me. because the total frequency in that table for 33.5 to 36.5 is 30. Yeah? I multiply that by my class width, which is now 3. And then I add it to my lower bound. And I'm going to write that formula out in words in just a second, all right? I hate this running out of space business. Okay? So that's the mathematics behind it. So how about I'm going to put a formula down for you that will hopefully make sense. And the formula is as follows. So what you need over the total frequency in the group times by the class width added to your lower bound, okay? So here we needed, okay, 25.5 is how much more we need to add to 27, which we already have, to get, that gives you the lower, the upper quartile, my dude. That thing, that's the formula for anything, all right? But here, the calculation we're doing is the upper quartile. So we already had 27. We wanted to get to 52.5. We needed another 25.5, all right? In that group, 33.5 to 36.5, we had a frequency of 30. So we needed 25.5 out of 30. And then we're going to times it by the class width, because the class width is 3, and then add it to the start of where our group is, the lower bound of our group, which is 33.5. All right? Okay, cool. I feel like we're going to need another example, so I'm going to do 4. All right? I feel like 4 we have to do. Does that make sense? So I don't think everyone's by a long shot understanding all this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fiddle with the camera for a second. Try and get myself a little bit more space. Okay? We're going to do 4 from scratch. So if you don't understand this at all, the only thing you need to walk away from is, so, okay, fine, let's do it all over again. All right? Let's see if we can figure it out. And the only thing you needed was hopefully the notes you took while I was doing this question. So question 4. Can we do 4D, please? We will. We'll do it once we get there. All right? So we'll do 4C and we'll do 4D. Actually, no, 4B and then 4D. Right, so we're going to do 4B. I'm going to do 4D. First things first, I'm going to have to do my continuity correction. Obviously, with my hand and so it's here, isn't it? It's there, I guess. So can you see this? So 300 to 349.5, yeah? And so on and so forth. Can you do the table for me? Can you copy the frequency for me? So cattle, so this will be cattle. Put a frequency column here. And can you do a cumulative frequency column for me here as well? All right? We need to do C before we need to do D. That's fine. I'm just going to look up what C is. All right? But let's do B at least. I think you've already seen one upper quartile. I want to show a lower quartile. All right? So can you, in the next 2-3 minutes, fill in the following table where you've got continuity correction done here, frequency here, and class, I'm sorry, not frequency, cumulative frequency there. So continuity correction, frequency, cumulative frequency. All right? And when you've done that, pop something in a message box for me. All right? It's page 27, question 4. Page 27, question 4. We try not to like join late if at all possible, right? I know there's some people actually not joined at all. There's like 12 people watching this, so there should be a few more people than this. But anyways, so you need to, can you copy the table, question 4, do a continuity correction on the weight of the cattle, keep the frequency the same, and have a cumulative frequency column directly beneath it. I'll give you about another minute to do that. Just scribble it down. It doesn't need to be perfect or immaculate. I just want to see it done. All right? What I'm going to do is try and edge the camera in a way that actually helps a little bit better. And we're going to do the lower quartile this time. You've got about another 30 seconds. All you need to do is copy the table quickly. There's no rush. Maybe give you a bit more than 30 seconds now, think of it. What's the cumulative frequencies when you add them up as you go along? So the first cumulative frequency is 3. The second cumulative frequency is 9, because 3 add 6 is 9. The third cumulative frequency is 3 add 6 add 10, which is 19, and so on and so forth. All right? It's a cumulative frequency you've done. Yep, brilliant. 3, 9, 19, 26, and then 31. Brilliant. Yeah. And we know that's right because they tell us there's 31 cows. All right? So if we didn't, that's our test, that's our check, right? Is anyone confused as it stands? Okay, good. So we're going to find the lower quartile. Yeah, we're going to find the lower quartile. The way we're going to do that is by, first of all, and you guys hopefully have done your table at this point. Okay, so I'm just going to do this in my head. 1/4 times 31. All right, so pop that in the answer box. I'm going to do it on my calculator. 1/4 of 31. Why? Doing the lower quartile. All right, we'll do 1/4 of 31. And that gives me 7.75. And because this is continuous, we don't have to do any feats of rounding. All right, so can you just check that you've got 1/4 of 31, it came out 7.75. Yep, 7.75, good, good, good. So all we've done so far is fix the table with a cumulative frequency and a, what's that called, continuity correction on the first one. All right, brilliant. Well done, Demetrius, good job. We give that a few more seconds, give that 30 seconds, then I'm going to take you through the whole question now. All right. So we know we've got a target of 7.75. Yep. I'm just waiting for a few more kind of affirmatives to pop up. If you're confused, say so, but say so why you're confused. Say what you can't do. Be explicit. Fazana, well done. 5 more, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we go. Okay, so what are we doing here, right? We are going to say this. The 7.75 would land in the region 349.5. I'll write it down. So this should be in your table, 349.5 to 399.5. Yeah, of course, it goes without saying, boss. It goes without saying. Yeah. Why do we know that? Because the cumulative frequency of that is 9. It's the first one bigger than 7.75. It works just like the median you learned in secondary school. Yeah. So it's going to be in this group. All right. And that part of the table, and that's the only piece of the table I actually need, has a frequency of 6 and a cumulative frequency of 9. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is move on to the next step. Let's go look at that formula again. We start with our lower bound. Our lower bound in this group is 349.5. So 349.5 is the first thing you write down. All right. You need, your last table had a cumulative frequency of 3. Okay. So you need another 4.75 to get from 3, which is where you're starting from, to your endpoint 7.75, because that's what you are after. So we plus 4.75 here. All right. We divide it by the cumulative, so we divide it by the frequency, not the cumulative frequency. So we're going to divide that by 6. All right. And that whole fraction will now get multiplied by the class width. And the class width here happens to be 50, isn't it? Yeah, it's 50. You type that on your calculator, and that would give you a lower quartile value. All right. So let's recap that. You start with your lower bound. Okay, so this is your lower bound of your group. All right. Why 4.75? Because when you start here at 349.5, the cumulative frequency you have is 3. All right. The previous one's cumulative frequency is 3. You've already got 3. You want to get to 7.75. How many more do you need? You need 4.75, don't you? To get from 3 to 7.75, you're adding 4.75. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. We're going to divide through by 6 because the 6 is the amount that's actually in the group. So basically, you're saying we don't need all of the values that take us from 349.5 to 399.5. 389 final answer. Let's check it. So we're doing what? Exercise 2, aren't we? That's the need part. That's right. It is the need part. What did you claim? 389? Perfect. Yeah. Well played. That's correct. Well done. You've done a good job there. You got 1,750. Yes, I'd say check your calculator because there's no way that's going to happen, right? So that's your 1/4 value. Okay. Now, 389, brilliant. So what does that say after what? After the times? 50. Okay. Why? Because your class width from 349.5 to 399.5 is 50. All right. So basically, it's your top end value, your upper bound minus your lower bound in the group. All right. So 50. My phone's not cool. My phone's popping off. Okay, cool. Anyone got any particular problems with this? If not, can I ask you to do C and just do 3/4 minus 31? You'd obviously have to use a different part of the table. Okay. Yeah, I suspect. For C, you got 480. I mean, that's possible. Let's check that. We don't round. No, you don't. Because it's continuous, you can be as accurate as you like. What have you got there? So I'm just checking what exercise is this one? Yeah, 480. Yeah, that's fine. So, and then what is the meaning of the value you find for the upper quartile in part C? It means that 25% of it is above that. I would have thought. Let me just check exactly what they want you to say there. Yeah, 3/4 of the cows. I just said it the other way around. 3/4 of the cows weigh 480 kilograms or less. How do you find the what? The need. Okay, really simple actually. Look at the cumulative frequency directly before your group that you've chosen. So for the lower quartile, it would be the cumulative frequency for 340 to 349.5. And that's 3. All right. Then you look at what your target number is, 7.75, and you just subtract the two numbers. So here we had the cumulative frequency of the group before it being 3. We know that we want to get to 7.75. We merely subtract that from that, 7.75 from 3 to get 4.75. I hope that makes sense. All right. It's not a hard thing at all. Just look at the table immediately before you. All right. Okay, so cool. You've got about 5 minutes left. I want you to try 5 for me. I'm going to shut down now, unless people have got questions. 5, we're going to talk about, we'll pick that up at the beginning of next lesson. Next lesson's topics are going to be on, we might do the interquartile range a teensy bit, but probably more about variance and standard deviation and coding, right? So ideally, I mean, this might not be possible, we'll try and finish chapter 6. Yeah, these really simple. You can do it one or two ways. The way they go in the text, we're going to say, well, okay, 75% of cows weigh this or less, or 25% of cows weigh more than this. All right? Yeah, 480. Well done, Zara. Okay? Just remember what an upper quartile is. An upper quartile says above this number, 25%, below this number, 75%. That's all it is. Okay? I don't understand what they're asking. They're just asking you to say what it means in real life. And if you've got the upper quartiles 480, it means that 480 is the weight that 3/4 of the cows are less than or equal to, and 25% of the cows will probably weigh more than that, or will, not probably, will weigh more than that. Okay? That's all it is. Just the definition of upper quartile and lower quartile. Just looking at 5A before I go, it says 65 percentile. How would you deal with that? Instead of timesing by a quarter or 3/4, times by 65 over 100. I mean, it's a percentile. All right? So if you're not familiar with percentiles, just do it as the percentile over 100 being your timesing fraction, and nothing else about the mathematics changes. All right? No problem, anytime. I'll hang around here till 5:30 because that's the official end of lesson. Try number 5 for me. We'll pick number 5 up tomorrow morning as our starter. All right? The live stream will start at 10:45, as long as I'm not dead. This coronavirus is getting a bit serious out there, I think. I hope everyone's self-isolating like good people. I'm certainly staying at home. I love these guys. You actually put thumbs up. I don't know if they count for anything, but I'm appreciative nevertheless. I'm hanging around here for another 3 minutes. All right. So try number 5. Be careful out there. That's all I'm saying. All right. You're going for 5 jogs today. I mean, jokes aside, that might kill someone. Not you, probably, because you're young and healthy. I'll walk around like a free man. I do that in my garden. I mean, you're not a free man, though, are we? How are we free? Just be careful out there, all right? And to be fair, even for young ones, apparently Corona is brutal. I was getting a little bit panicky as well because I thought I had it. But then I haven't, thankfully. I don't think I have anyways. A couple of my students in my other class have. But yeah, I mean, apparently from what I've been told, the symptoms are pretty rough. It's like a hard flu that will put you in bed. So you know it if you have it. I mean, a lot of people are going to be feeling like that. I even messaged my sister saying I think I had it. Then, wow, Christ, that escalated quickly. I just realized, no, you're just literally being a hypochondriac. Stop acting up. And also, like, other things you're doing can, like, you know, I realized the reason why I've got a scratchy throat is because I'm talking at a screen for like 4 hours a day, and that did not click to me. Just every one of you guys be careful, right? All right. If you think, by the way, not to underestimate, if you think you've got it or even suspect you've got it, self-isolate. That's what I did for a few days till it wasn't a thing. So even now, I'm not going out unless it's absolute emergency. So I'll walk my garden, but I'm not walking. I'm not going to go play basketball or anything like that. So be careful. Look after yourselves. And you can get it from someone who doesn't look like they've got symptoms as well, which is very worrying. So yeah, do not underestimate. Just to be clear, have a crack at number 5. What do we do? Yeah, do number 5. Try and do that before next lesson, because we're going to start with that. And then next lesson, it's 10:45. We're going to try and cover standard deviation, try and cover coding, and thereby finish chapter 2. I'm also going to try and make sure that everyone's on Dr. Frost, and your first homework on Dr. Frost will come tomorrow as well. All right? So that's good. And the good thing about the Dr. Frost homework is I know the in coding, do you do continuity correction? I think it depends on what you're doing with it, if that makes sense. So if you're going to do things like linear interpolation through a coding, then yeah, you'd have to do the continuity correction then. I'm going to try to finish. I'll try to finish 70. Fair shout. Doesn't matter because well, it does matter, but it's not the end of the world because we'll go through it. All right. I mean, I recommend doing it because, you know, practice the skill while you've got it. We don't have a double. We never have a double. Only further maths have a double. No double. Maths is one of the only subjects that doesn't do double lessons. All right, I'm done here. Question 5, if you get the time. If not, yeah, same to you. Who's a shambolic mess of a human being? That's not me. Though actually, if you could see my face, you'd probably agree. I'm growing a beard. It'll be funny when you see me now. Take care, dudes. Bye.